let me take you back 15 years ago. Like 15 years ago, this is what you would say about LSU football. You would say, look, you are in a talent-rich state where the recruiting ground is as fertile as anybody. You're the only show in town. You've got one of the iconic venues in all of American sports. You've got a passionate fan base. You've got money to pay coordinators. Like, this is one of the best jobs in all of college football to have, right? That's what you would say. And a lot of that is still very true today. It's an incredibly fertile recruiting ground still. The fan base is still incredibly passionate. You've got one of the iconic venues in sports. But the biggest change in college football is where booster funds are channeled. And for a while there, we were in the Wild Wild West where you could just cut checks to every recruit for any reason, go. And I tell you all the time, when rules change happens, my first instinct and the first thing I'm going to think about is, okay, how does that affect LSU's ability to be competitive and to win a national championship? And my fear was, okay, this is Louisiana, our economy, not exactly the model in America. Can LSU keep up? Can LSU find the dollars and cents? You got big bad Texas A&M, all that Texas oil money. Can you compete with that? You've got bigger school, more alums, more money and success in the state of Georgia. Can you compete with them? What about the machine at Alabama? Can you compete with that? Then you got these Big Ten schools that are massive and have endowments that are 10x what LSU is. Can you compete with those teams when it comes to just spending money as fast as possible? Like, that was a legitimate concern. And here's the deal. There have been instances over the last 5 years since name, image, and likeness money started flying around where LSU has had to come up with a lot of money. Let's tell you what happened. Well, you wanted to fire Ed Orgeron, and his buyout was almost $20 million. Done. Okay, now it's time to hire a new coach. That can get expensive depending on who you're going to target. They went and hired Brian Kelly for $95 million. Boom, got it done. 2 years into that, while you're still paying Ed Orgeron's buyout, Brian Kelly says, we have to buy out the entire defensive staff. You had the money, did that. When you buy out a defensive staff, what do you have to do? You got to go hire a new defensive staff. Got that done. Went and money whipped Blake Baker out of Missouri and put his staff together. Money was no object. 2 years later, year and a half later, okay, we said we weren't in the business of buying players. We're not going to buy defensive linemen. Now, year and a half later, we got to buy players. Here's $1 million of my money. And oh, by the way, LSU found the money, got the number one transfer portal class in the country. And then the biggest kicker. It's time to fire Brian Kelly. This train's fallen off the tracks. We're embarrassed on national television. Well, that's going to cost a lot of money because there's still $50 million on his contract. He's got a staff. And then you're going to have to pay a new coach to coach if you tell Brian Kelly he can't coach. And LSU found the money in an hour and a half. That might be a little bit of hyperbole, but he was fired the next day. There was never an instance. Need to buy out O? Done. Need to get a new coach? $95 million. Got to buy out a defensive staff? Found it. Got to hire a new defensive staff? Done. Got to fire Kelly? Got to pay the players? This massive transfer portal haul? Done. Number one class. Now you got to buy out Kelly, $50 million? Done. And then you're going to have to hire a new coach for another $100 million, and that'll get done because they'll have somebody coaching the football team next fall. Money was never an object. Now, yes, LSU came up short on Bryce Underwood because of money. Here's the deal. You go up against Larry Ellison, you will lose that every time. So that's a little bit different circumstance. Based on what I Googled and AI'd today, he's one of the top 5 richest people in the world. So, yeah, not going to win that one. But when most things are equal and decisions have to be made, little old Louisiana and poor old LSU found the money every time. So here's now my take on this that I will continue to move forward on until I have new information. Again, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have said LSU's not going to be able to keep up if the name of the game is just spending a bunch of money because Louisiana probably didn't have that much money. I'm off that kick. There has not been one decision made Not one process that has been delayed because they don't have the money. Build a new football ops center, done. I mean, the money is there. I don't know where it comes from. Ross Dellinger wrote a great piece detailing one booster who helped with the transfer portal class out in California. But I don't know the 10 people you got to go to get the checks. I don't know the 5 people you got to go to get the checks. I don't know the 15. I don't know how many there are. I don't know who they are. But they're there. Scott Woodward knows where they are. Brian Kelly knew where they were. And the fact of the matter is that every single time LSU has needed money, they have found it. So I'm not going to sit here and suggest that finances are some sort of impediment to LSU competing with Texas A&M, competing with Alabama, competing with Georgia, Ohio State. I'm not going to say that because there has not been an instance where that has proved itself to be true. Like in this circumstance where I'm changing my mind, I will reserve the right to change my mind again if something comes up. But as I sit here right now, and as I survey this situation right now, I don't know how I could come to any other conclusion but that there are enough people in this state, in this fan base with enough money to do whatever it is that it's time to do. I sat here as I spoke to a booster club in Thibodaux 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, before the Vanderbilt loss. And I got asked, is Kelly going to get fired this year? And I said, I don't think so. Because I don't think that LSU has $55 million to pay him and then buy out his staff and then pay another coach $100 million. That's a $150 million decision. And I don't know that LSU has that. I said that. It was 10 days ago. Changing my tune now. Changing my tune now. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they do. I don't know where their money is, but it's there. So it would appear to me to be an unsustainable path to continue to cut massive buyout checks and pay players year over year. But until there's some massive hiccup in this thing where LSU sinks to the depths of the SEC and can't field a roster other than 3-star high school kids that can't play, or keeps a coach that goes 4-8, I think LSU financially doing just fine. Just got to know what phone calls to make. And apparently, according to Ross Dellinger's piece, they walked around the suites for a few minutes on Saturday night, and that deal was done. So LSU moves on without Brian Kelly, and some people are going to be about $50 million lighter. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.